Hello, is there anybody out there?
Check, check, check.
Rest in peace to Norm Macdonald. This is Corey, and this is the Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob, rushing back to the rushing back to the camera because my AC is still on.
For people watching on YouTube, no, Rob is not in witness protection.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. Welcome to episode 388? 388 of the Anthem podcast. Coming to you from all over Los Angeles, allegedly. And Corey is there at the hashtag OT LA studios, high above the one, or gentrifying LA, one neighborhood at a time. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you can listen to us on your podcatcher of choice. The easiest way.
So, as you guys, if you're watching on video, you may see.
You gonna fix that?
I am in relief. I should have heeded Corey's warnings time after time, year after year. But I've gone into hiding now based on some of the things that I've said in the past about people I work with and people in the community and political leaders. I'm just kidding. Fuck all y'all. You can see my face. Give a fuck about you. Give a fuck about anybody. About to have a video coming up on Instagram about fuck Gen Z. Not one of you, not somebody in particular. All of you. Fuck all of you. Anyway, so hey, here we are.
Gen Z is the next one, right?
Yeah, that's the people under us.
Millennials and then Gen Z.
Yes, the ones that you want to be so bad. You want to be Gen Z so bad.
Me?
I say as I drink my Yoo-hoo.
Me? I want to be Gen Z so bad.
Yes.
No,
having kids is a Gen Z thing. Us millennials, we don't want no babies. We're not trying to have no babies. Dogs are the new babies, and pets. Or plants are the new pets. A baby? That's like that guy who owns a tiger. Like, what the fuck is he thinking? How much money does he have?
Carol Baskin, I'll kill that bitch.
This guy's got a lot of money. That's why he's having a baby.
I'm just kidding. That wasn't me. That was an impression.
I hear you. Anyway, so Corey's on a tight schedule because he's got to go vote. So
Possibly.
Let's keep it tight. Big news of the week: performative politics. And you might think that we're talking about, what's happening in D.C., but no, we're talking about what's happening in New York, and not the fact that Chris Cuomo has not a single time on his show mentioned that his brother is no longer the governor of the state of New York, which seems weird because he talked about his brother was governor all the time on the show. What I'm talking about is the Met Gala. And some of you may be confused and be like, Met Gala, I didn't know that was happening. If you were on social media or watch TV or on YouTube and you were like, oh, is it the 75th annual Hunger Games? Yes, that's exactly what it was. The rich get dressed up in their finest and they go walk a red carpet, which is stairs, in dresses that are worth more than Corey makes in a year.
Yeah.
I mean, not me. But but Corey, more than Corey makes in a year.
On tickets alone, they probably eclipse what most of us make in a year.
True. I mean, the tickets are 30,000 a piece, so
Yeah. So if you're going with 2 people, isn't the median income basically like 58,000 or something like that right now? Oh no, I'm sorry. That's I was thinking about Los Angeles.
Yeah. I mean, okay, Los Angeles, yes. Nationally, absolutely not. Absolutely.
I mean, still 58,000 in Los Angeles is basically like the
broke.
poorest person.
There are homeless people who make $58K a year. Can't afford rent on $58K a year. Jesus. Where am I supposed to live for that? Where do you live for $58K a year? Santa Clarita. That's where I live, all right?
I guess I'll just live on the street for a while until I can afford a home.
Vacaville. I drive in from Vacaville every single day.
Victorville. You always say Vodkaville. I don't
Bro,
know
there is a real town called Vacaville. It's further than Victorville. Cowtown.
Vacaville?
Yes. You have your computer in front of you. Look up Vacaville. Vacaville. Cowtown. Vacaville. Everybody watch his face.
Vacaville City in California. All right.
Oh. And there, the realization comes to him.
Oh, it's all the way up in the Bay Area, though.
Yeah, it's Vacaville. It's further than Victorville.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's like it's the South Bay, right? It's on this side of San Francisco, but it's pretty far up there.
It's on the other. It's
on
the other side. Yeah, it's up like
well.
halfway between San Francisco and Sacramento.
Oh, maybe. Okay. So maybe the first time I was making that reference, I was talking about San Francisco to Sacramento.
I mean, if I leave right now, it would take me about 6 hours and 13 minutes, assuming I could do this without charging, which I absolutely can't. But
okay, so when you're going on vacation later on this week, then it'll take you 6 hours to get there. I get you. Okay. Anyway,
I'll stop in Victorville up on the Vacaville up on the way. I'll just go see what's going on in town.
So I'm gonna do this to
go to their Applebee's.
I'm gonna do this to meme later because I realize I don't have one. So bear with me, Corey. Imagine walking around with all of this, all of the time. Thank you.
Anywho, part of the reason why Rob talks about the performative politics of the Met Gala is because, along with all the celebrities, was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Who, by the way, looked gorgeous. Looked absolutely gorgeous. Listen,
looked great. Looked deserving of being there.
Don't say that about her. I have mixed feelings about AOC. I think as a human male to a human female, I have one set of feelings. As a leftist to another leftist, I have another set of feelings that are a little harsher. But I mean,
really, she's the best hope you got, though.
No, don't fucking say that. Don't tell me that AOC is my Luke Skywalker. Because if AOC is my Luke Skywalker, I'm gonna throw myself into the heart of the Death Star right now. I can't do it.
She's the easy step on the way to the Luke Skywalker. She's the baby Yoda on the way to the Luke Skywalker.
Wait a second, Nana. Because in my mind, she is, Palpatine.
No, I think she is much like when Disney Plus created Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Like it was like this thing that became like cultural beyond Star Wars fans.
This cute little thing that became cultural. Yeah, absolutely.
Rachel knew what Baby Yoda was. She had no idea what any of the Star Wars were about or any of the characters or any. She probably would have vague recollections of like Luke and Darth Vader and stuff like that. But no understanding of the whole thing.
Didn't know it was Baby Yoda because there was a Yoda before.
But if all of a sudden Baby Yoda was on the TV, she'd sit down and watch a little bit of The Mandalorian. So she was like Baby Yoda is like the tester to the rest of the universe for people who have not gotten into Star Wars yet.
That's somebody's mother. Just so we're clear, that is someone's mother. The next generation is being raised by that person.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen the Star Wars movies either, so...
Somebody's father. This is someone's father. This person is raising.
And I watched some of The Mandalorian, mostly because I walked through the room and I'm like, "Hey, Baby Yoda." But I'm saying
we've done something. I don't know if it's good, but as always,
your hope of a future leftist regime starts with people thinking AOC is a good idea, but she doesn't go quite far enough.
See, absolutely not.
The problem is that most people think AOC is too far.
Because
for
this
you,
AOC
is not far enough.
AOC is exactly what Fisher talked about when he said tools of anti-capitalism actually become tools of capitalism, because they are supporting, by being so cute and so cuddly, they are supporting the system that's in place, because they make anti-capitalism non-threatening, and that does nothing for the movement. It just continues.
Baby Yoda defense, correct.
Yes, it just continues the ratchet effect of the conservative party trying to turn things to the right, conservative right, and the liberal party, which is no longer liberal, just like being a ratchet so that as it turns back, it doesn't allow it to come back any further to the left. So the performative politics part of it is like, listen, you are wearing a $100,000 dress to a $30,000 a ticket event in New York.
$100,000? Did she pay for the dress?
No, it was on loan. Nobody pays for those fucking dresses. They're all on loan from designers, but it's a $100,000 dress, and whether or not you paid for a ticket, it's a $30,000 a ticket event, and you're wearing a fucking dress that says tax the rich amongst the motherfucking rich.
Yeah.
Amongst the rich, you're wearing a dress that says tax the fucking rich. This is Fisher's idea of tools of capitalism, because essentially you're non-threatening, and all of those rich people around you are going to be like, yes, the rich should be taxed. And all the fucking poor people are saying, well, I don't know about this taxing the rich thing, because someday I might be rich and I don't want to be taxed. And the poor people are going to get poorer, and the rich people, nothing of a fuck's going to happen to them, because what's going to happen is AOC is just going to get more wealthy the longer she stays in Congress. And then eventually she's going to be like, well, listen, this whole tax the rich thing, what I really meant was like the top half of 1%, not like people like me who are just millionaires, not like millionaires. I mean like billionaires.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely not what we should do. This whole tax the rich dress thing, performative. Now, if she had gone in her motherfucking street clothes and then been like, who are you wearing? Gucci? How much is that dress? $150,000? Wine on the dress. That's non-performative politics. That is action-based communism. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, I mean, it's fine if you want her to go in and get kicked out immediately for spilling wine on people's dresses and stuff.
Here's what I will promise you. If you invite me to the Met, I will accept the ticket. You pay the $30,000, I will accept the ticket. Met. I am going to wear exactly what I wear every other day. Black t-shirt. I will style my hair exactly the same as I usually do. Might get a fresh cut. I'm going to do the cut. Fresh cut, black t-shirt, maybe a new one. Depends if I have any in the closet. I might step it up to the new t-shirt, and jeans. And I'm going to walk in there and I'm going to make fun of every single fucking person there. I'm going to stand on the red carpet as an invitee.
Except for Dan Levy. You'll
make fun of people.
You'll girl crush a little bit Dan Levy, but then you'll move on to the rest.
I mean, listen, Dan Levy.
Fuck you. You're cool. Fuck you.
That is an accurate representation of what would happen. I would absolutely do that. I'd be like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Oh, hey, this is a fantastic outfit. 200,000. Oh, yeah. No.
Well, at least you didn't pay for the ticket. You did. Oh.
Dan, you're trying
really from a children's charity. You stole it. No. It's a perfectly deserving reason for you to show up at the Met Gala.
Dan, please go right now. I can't control it so long. Go. Anyway,
I can only do this performative happiness for so long.
There's a Kardashian coming. I need you to go. I don't want you to see this. So yeah, that would basically
be friends with you one
day. We're friends, right, Dan? We're friends. Go, just go.
No matter what happens, no matter how early I get kicked out of this event, we're still friends, right, Dan?
I mean, he'd probably find it funny, honestly.
See, but the problem is, here's the, it's funny. I've talked to rich people before, people who a lot of people would consider super rich people, right?
Your
people
dad
who make $1 million.
Yeah, I know you talk to your dad a lot. Go ahead. Sorry.
Other people I've talked to.
Other rich people, yeah, sure.
Other rich people, other rich lawyers I've talked to, and they will all say they get taxed too much. And you know what? I'm gonna say this. I think that if everyone honestly paid the taxes that they were supposed to pay, then people who make $1 million a year wouldn't have to be taxed this much. The reason why people who make $1 million a year feel like they get hit by it so hard is because they don't make enough money to be able to pay for the people who allow them to get rid of all the money that they, like
The billionaires,
write
accountants.
off. Yeah. Like, you know, for instance, my dad makes so much or pays so much more in taxes than Jeff Bezos does because he does it honestly, as opposed to Bezos who pays $0 a year. You know, when all of a sudden everyone who's lumped, you know, if you say like everyone who makes $1 million or more only pays this much in taxes, then all that number is coming from the people who make $1 million a year, not the people who make $1 billion a year. You know what I mean?
And
so like,
this is the point of the performative politics. It's that not only is it performative in the Met Gala and the beautiful woman wearing a tax the rate dress. Like, honestly, I want her to be the other half of that picture of like the two people with gas masks on, like lifting them up and kissing, and there's like gas all around them, and like, she's got like an AK-47 on her. I want her to be that. She's not that, but I want her to be that. The other half of my revolutionary couple, but she's not. But the other part of the performative politics is just that's representative of the parties as a whole. We really only have one political party. We have the Republican Party because from the base to the top, they are a party. Excuse me, COVID. They have a platform. I'm just kidding. It's not COVID.
I really hope
they have a platform, and they have for the last 40 years had this plan, and they've laid it out and they followed it. What the Democratic Party is, and what AOC is a member of, is a political fundraising organization to get people who put a D next to their name elected. And she is now one of those people who got elected. And she is also part of this machine to fund money in. But if you ask them, what does your party stand for? There's no answer to that question. The Democratic Party stands for nothing because Joe Biden and AOC have very little in common. AOC and Bernie Sanders have more than Joe Biden and her have in common, but not a lot in common. It's the big tent party that has no fucking plan except for block Republicans from doing what they're doing, except for when I
keep
care
everyone
about,
happy. Keep everyone in that enormous tent happy.
100%. Yeah, except for nobody's happy. We're all miserable.
The worse the Republicans get, the bigger the tent gets. And you're now including people like me who used to be conservatives who are now still conservative, but still can't vote for a Republican because what do they fucking stand for? I mean, there's the things they stand for are just fucking loony. I mean, like, I would agree that, like, you know, over the last couple decades, like the Federalist Society and, you know, like the NRA before it was like exposed and stuff like that, like all these right-wing organizations did amazing work laying the groundwork for the things that have come after the fact that have, you know, they've been working to pack the Supreme Court full of people who would overturn Roe versus Wade for 20 years. That's been a good 30 years, 40 years. You know, it's been a goal. And through persistence, they were able to do it. And I'm not saying that that's right or anything, but I'm saying if the Democrats could just for 1 second come up with a goddamn plan and work on it and then go through with it, then perhaps there's actually a chance for something to happen. But nobody wants to seem to want to do the plan thing. Both the parties right now are both parties of fear in my calculation,
100%.
as opposed to, I mean, like the Republicans are just like, you can't vote for Joe Biden. He will bring socialism and communism to America, which is absolutely not what Joe Biden would do.
Do you know Joe Biden?
If you want,
listen,
if you want,
the Democratic Party is a big tent party that can now include Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, both of whom want to throw black men in jail and call them super predators and do not care about the environment one bit and really don't care about a woman's right to choose, despite the fact that one of them is a woman, but she's a rich woman. So that means that the law doesn't really apply to her because, you know, reasons of access. And no, but that's what it comes down to is that everybody has their particular thing that they worry about, right? So like the Greens, the environmentalists, they care about the environment. And you cannot get their asses up and out for anything other than the environment. But they want everybody to fucking show up for the environment when they didn't show up for anything else. And it's not them. It's not just them. It's not their fault because right now, abortion is the big issue. And the abortion rights advocates are out there and they want everyone to be motivated. But where the fuck were you when the Dakota pipeline was a big issue? Couldn't get your ass out. Couldn't get you to do anything. We needed you here. You weren't here. Okay. Now you want them to come out for you. But now they don't want to because you didn't come out for their thing. And it's just a blame game of history of you are not a motivated party because realistically, it's just about stopping whatever thing the Republicans are doing now. And that is, it's a response. It's only a response of fear.
Let's transition over to the recall a bit.
Well, that's also a response of fear, by the way. Gavin Newsom, the Republican recall.
I mean, right here in my hands. Hold on, let me show the part that isn't identifying anything. Right here in my hand is my ballot. I have not turned it in yet because honestly, the decision has been weighing with me heavily, and I spent a lot of today trying to think about it. I even went to find the law on California recall, or on recalls in California, to see if it gave any guidance into how I should, like, almost like I'm a Supreme Court justice looking at the like
Democrats wrote that law. There's
like
no guidance in there.
No, it's just like if people decide to recall the governor, this is how it happens. Like, that's basic. It's very plainly written. It's not like, if you're angry at Gavin Newsom, this is how you recall him, or anything like that.
If you'd like to send a message, here's how you send a message without fucking up the state for the next 18 months.
The best guidance I could actually find was in a preface to a document that was written up by the California Secretary of State, which basically said, like, the recall process is an opportunity for the electorate to show whether or not they are in agreement or disagreement with the way that things are going with the current governor. And I'm just like, that approval, I'm sorry, not agreement, approval. It can act as approval or disapproval of the job that the governor is doing, or the elected official is doing. And, under that basis, I can't approve of Gavin Newsom. I don't want Larry Elder. I don't want any of the other clown show Republicans who are running to be governor. I really don't want that to happen. Generally speaking, I don't think Gavin Newsom has been doing a awful or bad job. I mean, like, he's not as bad as Gray Davis was when he was recalled as California governor.
Yeah. Well, and that's why it doesn't make sense. At the same time,
it's just like, I don't want, my problem is that, like, it's going to take a couple weeks for us to get the full announcement. So don't turn into CNN expecting to hear, like, the final results tonight. But, like, I'm sure they're going to predict that Kevin Newsom will win somewhere after like 8 o'clock Pacific time when it closes, because they can't help themselves. But I'm so sick of. I don't want to vote. I wouldn't vote for Gavin Newsom if this was a primary. Like, if there's some other Democrat running, I'd probably vote for that Democrat over Gavin Newsom. If there was another Democrat in the runoff list, like a reasonable, there's a YouTuber who's a Democrat, and I'm not saying that he can't have good ideas, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not prepared to make him governor. Like, there's like a line.
Well, and I was gonna say, like, two things. One, that's why other states' recall laws make more sense, where the sitting governor can do the recall but also run in the recall election, because that's the message to send them. Yes, a recall, but also I'm going to vote for you in the recall because of a shitty list of people. You're the least shitty. But that doesn't mean I like you. You're not doing a good job, but I don't want any of these guys, so I'm going to vote for you. Two, I have a message to Biden based on this. We need to repeal unemployment benefits. If this dude's got enough time to be looking up prefaces of laws and shit, we need to just repeal the benefits. Send his ass to work at McDonald's or something. Like, Jesus Christ.
I have not been getting unemployment for quite some time. So just put that out there. That was done on my own time.
Oh my God. Let me try to analyze that at the end of my 70-hour work week. I'll try to sit down for a few minutes and figure out how I feel about your research time.
Me reading the California Constitution earlier today.
Wait, fast forward to the end of the show. How's that YouTube content coming, Corey?
Poorly.
No, if I had 18 months to just sit at home and work on shit, I would have done.
Anyway, the problem is that what I would really like is for Gavin Newsom, the no to win, Gavin Newsom to stay as governor. But if there was a way to do it where he won by one vote and that didn't cause some sort of like crisis of whether or not they counted correctly and stuff like that. But if he could win by one vote and I didn't have to be involved, I would feel so happy. Like, I would. Because I feel like if like what it looks like is going to happen based off of polling, which is not the best thing to go off of anymore, but still, it's like a 15-point win for the no. So like, I don't want him to win, like 65-35 in the no question, and then go up on a stage and just be like, you proved, California, that you love me and you want me to be here forever and you never want me to leave. Because that is not the message I want to send. I want him to wake up every single morning, like looking at results, finding out whether or not he still has a job.
Thank God. I still have a job today. All right, let's go to work.
And then when they officially say it's final sometime in like January, when the state of California finally gets done with the election, then and only then can Gavin Newsom go like, well, I think they sent a clear message that they don't want me fucking around anymore. So I'm just going to go. I'm going to go home. I'm going to find another Democrat to run in my place. I'm not doing this anymore. I just don't. I don't want him to feel like he won from this. Like that's the problem.
That's why other states' laws make more sense, because like the no vote gets an 85%, and then he wins the recall like 60% to slivers, and then he's like, okay, fuck. You've sent me a message. None of you want me to be governor, but you don't want these guys to be governor more. So okay, so I gotta do some shit.
I wish there was like a California recall, but then there was also like a California censure or something like that.
Well, there is.
Like, I wish we could just vote to censure. Well, the Congress can do that. I'm just saying the electorate. That would be so much better. I'd vote yes on the censure of Gavin Newsom every single day if I could.
Just not allowed to talk anymore. Like, that's enough out of you, Gavin. Just sit down, go be governor for a while.
Hey, Gavin, shut the fuck up. Here's my ballot.
I'm going to vote for you. I mean, just shut the fuck up. How about that, okay?
I mean, like, the worst part is that, much like the Trump-Biden election, I didn't want to vote for Joe Biden. Joe Biden was going to win regardless of what I did. But I'm saying, like, I'm tired of voting in these elections where it's just like, you have to do it or else Trump will be president. Well, you have to do it or else Larry Elder will be governor. Like, how about for once in our lives, it could just be like, hey, Gavin Newsom's a good guy. Here's all the good things he did. I'm not saying he didn't do good things. He did, with COVID, I think he handled it better than most, but that doesn't mean he got
right up until the French Laundry. Right up until French Laundry.
Well, no, I mean, like, the problem was that, like that's the scar that lasts on him right now, which is like whether or not he was wrong for going to the French Laundry, which of course he was. Like, no, everyone else was sitting at home and he was begging people to stay home. And then the second he did that, he gave license to all these people in California all across the state who were just like, oh, well, if he's going to say fuck it, then I'm going to say fuck it. And then we were never able to get the toothpaste back in the tube after that, like it was over after that. Yeah. And, people are trying their best to, follow the rules and be safe and keep other people safe.
No, they're fucking not. Nobody fucking is.
No, I'm saying there are people who are doing that.
I'm the single only person doing that.
Only person in California who hasn't left there.
Only fucking person you can find at home every day of the week. Or in my bubble. But none of those fucking people are doing it either. So, what are you going to do?
I'm doing everything I can here.
Wait. Are you? Are you doing everything you can? Are you?
Yeah.
So, just a scheduling note. We will be here next week, but the week after will be a recording because, why? Why are we have to record an episode?
Because I'm going to be in San Francisco.
Oh, you'll be traveling. Yes, traveling.
Yeah, for a wedding.
A wedding for a week. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But we should be back on time. Are you doing Vegas still or?
No. First of all, don't say Vegas like I'm taking a vacation. I have been asking my boss the entire last 2 weeks, are you making me go to Vegas for work? Because the company we acquired is based in Vegas. But I don't want to go.
Anywho.
I like how you throw Vegas in there like, you're still going to Vegas? Like, motherfucker, like I'm going for fun. All right? Like I'm going to be working my same 70 hours in a different office that happens to be in Las Vegas.
I'm not saying that.
Oh, I saw you trying to throw me under the bus there. That's the thing
that's keeping us from doing the podcast next week. I'll be back in time for recording Not next week, the week after.
Week after,
That's
yes. Next week is recorded either way.
Well, I mean, next week's podcast we'll do on Saturday.
Yes. Recorded,
then
because Corey's gonna be out of
recorded
town.
on Saturday, but
Traveling
then the next
for a
week
wedding.
we could be doing it live on Monday.
Yes, the week after you return from your trip, your voluntary trip, we'll be doing it live. So, speaking of voting for someone rather than voting against someone else, Corey, how would you feel about voting for George W. Bush in 2024? Because he's had a bit of a renaissance. I don't know if you've noticed. He is the great peacekeeper. He is the great wise man.
I think that there were two lessons of this week of Republicans saying the right thing, but at the same time, just the general oeuvre of them is fuck them forever.
Yeah. Okay.
The first one, a funnier one, not really funny because it led to the Capitol being overthrown. But I mean, like, apparently Mike Pence was reaching out to people looking for counsel on what to do about the recertification of the vote. And he reached out to legendary Republican Party elder, Dan Quayle, who told him, no, you can't do that, Mike. Under no circumstances do you have any legal ability to do anything. You just have to open the envelopes and count the votes. And Mike Pence was like, hey, but wait a minute, what about this? And it's just like, no, Mike, you can't do anything.
Listen, Mike, I can't spell potato, but I know that you can't overthrow the government as the head of the Senate.
Yeah, it's not part of your job description.
Yeah. By the way, Dan Quayle, for those of you who are, Gen Zers, number one, I hate you. Number two, Dan Quayle was vice president to George Bush in the election of 88.
George Sr. Yeah.
George Sr. Sorry, 88. Yes, and then in 92, famously was in an elementary school classroom and misspelled potato when he wrote it on the chalkboard at the time, because chalk on blackboard was what we had. And then never lived it down, and it ruined his political career. You have that absolutely right. The man misspelled potato by putting an E on the end of potato, like, 70% of dumbass Americans would, and it ruined his political career. No insurrection. No, I could shoot a man on Fifth Avenue. No, grab her by the pussy. None of that. Potato ruined that man's career.
He was done. He was over.
Yeah.
That used to be the bar.
Yeah, that was the bar. Trump lowered the bar.
Yeah. But before Trump lowered the bar, George W. Bush lowered the bar.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
Compassionate
conservatives.
Listen, he said at his speech in Shanksville, where find people took down Flight 93 from the terrorists. He gave a speech where he said that
where an American jet shot down the plane.
I mean, did you watch the 9/11 thing on Netflix yet?
No.
Oh, watch it. It's
Listen,
good.
George Bush did 9/11. I know that. You know that. Everybody knows that. Jet shot down the plane in Shanksville. What do you?
I still like the South Park. We just want you to think that it's a government conspiracy, because who could ever trust that the government would be capable of pulling off something like this? It makes the government look like they're capable of things.
Yes, it makes it scarier if you think the government could pull that off. It makes the government seem inept if, people around the world were discussing funding and then carrying out a terrorist event, and then we're able to do so. Because, by the way, also, ironic, unironic, funny, not funny, people on Twitter reacting to like, wait, you mean the TSA didn't exist before 2000? Yeah. And like, no, you used to just walk onto the fucking airplane. Yeah. Very little security. You could buy your ticket at the airport. No bags. Walk onto the fucking plane. That was it. It was glorious.
Not only that, but if your mom came to visit you for a weekend, you could park in the garage for like, an hour or two. You could walk into the airport. You could walk all the way to the terminal.
To the gate.
You could be there.
The gate and get her.
You could be there waiting right outside the gate when she got off to give your mother a hug.
Yes.
Now,
you
have to fucking drive around the concourse.
Well, I mean, COVID also. You can't meet her and give her a hug. So,
She's got a quarantine for fucking 2 weeks. Don't give a shit what vaccine you got.
But no, it was. And then, by the way, the TSA using that as an opportunity to be like, yes, back in 2001, in response to the global war on terror, the TSA was organized to keep you safe from 3-ounce bottles of shampoo. Just everything about America is the fucking worst, including the next generation who's going to run it.
Well, it's the problem is it's a long continued history for people like you and me who ring the alarm about something, and then people get upset about it, and then it becomes part of our life, and then we forget.
Yeah.
Like, you remember when the Patriot Act, like, this is the undoing of American basic jurisprudence of like how you're allowed to collect the information of somebody that you used to get a fucking judge. You'd wake up a judge to get them to sign a thing, an affidavit that was painstakingly put together to authorize a wiretap on somebody.
Unless you're in Baltimore, then you just make the shit up and
no, yeah. Then you just say drugs were found somewhere near the person's car.
Sprinkle a little crack on him. Let's get out of here.
And then the judge who just transferred up from the Eastern Shore to avoid boy trouble.
He killed himself. Come on.
Good. And you know what? Fuck that guy. Because nothing says I'm guilty like swallowing the memory card before you shoot yourself in the face.
No. He swallowed the memory card. Then the cops arrested him. Then they got the memory card by pumping his stomach. They came back to arrest him for whatever they found on the memory card, and then he shot himself.
Oh, I thought it was the other way. I thought he ate the memory card and then shot himself, and they got it later.
No. They got the memory card. They released him on bail, and then he shot himself when they came to rearrest him because they found out what was on the memory card. They'll never announce what the evidence was. We'll never know. But yeah, it seems pretty damning. I don't know if you, but also another news. I'm moving back to Maryland. I don't
usually shoot myself in the face when somebody goes through my memory. It's like, oh my God, I can't have them see the episodes of the podcast I just recorded.
To be fair, if it was the FBI, maybe you should swallow that memory card. I'm just saying it could be bad.
Get 20 minutes of salty TSA talk. Fuck the TSA.
But in other news, I'm going to move back to Maryland and run for judge. So I'll see y'all soon. Couldn't get any worse, right? Like avowed communist, hate cops. Little boy is not a problem though. Just little boy. I'm just saying, little boy is not a problem. Hate cops, little boy's not a problem. So, cheers. Oh God.
Oh man, the Eastern Shore doesn't know what they.
Revolution.
It feels like it could be. Feels like it could be a wacky like sitcom on CBS.
I don't know how you get in. I don't know how you get in.
The only judge in a conservative area dies, and then the replacement is like a communist. Like it's like pulled up from judge school.
Or it's a out of cycle election, and there's like 9 votes out of a county of 100,000 people.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it was just me and my 6 friends who went to the polls. And then 3 other guys. I won. Yay.
Just show people in the cold open, just random voters like walking into the booth going like, I'm not voting for fucking judge. just like, I don't even know who any of these candidates are. I'm not voting for judge.
Oh my God. Okay, so that might actually be good.
The problem is that even if people don't know the names of the people, they're just going to look at the names of the judges and they're just going to be like, O'Donnell sounds like an Irish guy. I'm going to vote for him. I don't know any better.
Also, advantage. A lot of people just vote for the first few names on the list, and the C puts me at the top. So I'm just saying.
I do enjoy that. I went through like some philosophy class at one point where they're just like, you've just moved to a new town and you need to get a new doctor, and they give you a big list of all the doctors. Who are you going to pick? And it's just like 90% of people will just pick the name of a doctor who sounds like they're kind of like them.
Yeah.
Like if you're Latino, you just find a Dr. Gutierrez and you're just like, that's it. I got found the guy.
See, now I go the opposite. I go the opposite. I see a white guy's name on that list, and I'm just picturing like a 90-year-old dude who's going to fall asleep in the middle of my fucking session. And I'm just like, what I want is a Latino or a Latina or Asian female doctor. Because she's going to be in her 20s or 30s. She's going to be young, and she's going to be fired up and trying to cure some disease. And God knows I got a lot of stuff wrong with me. So
I like I like how you make these assumptions. Going back to George W. Bush, though, for real quick.
Speaking of Latinos,
it was really great for George Bush to take time out of his busy day to say that domestic terrorism is bad.
Good sentiment.
Good sentiment. Glad somebody on the right has decided that this is the time to say it, because I think it was basically just George W. Bush a week ago, or this week, and before that it was Larry Hogan. Back in January.
I have one note for George W. Bush though. It's supposed
John Kasich or someone like that. But
it's supposed to be art then war crimes, not war crimes then art. You got the order all mixed up, George. Sorry. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. The real point here is that for people who weren't around during the George W. Bush years, if Donald Trump never existed, if he never decided to go down that fucking escalator and run for president and stuff like that, George W. Bush would be the worst president of our lifetimes by a large margin. And it's not because he was incompetent or dumb or incapable of doing things. Back in the day when we were in elementary school and stuff like that.
I mean, he was dumb.
Well, yeah, but no. But I'm saying it's not like he was dumb. The gold standard for bad presidents for us was Millard Fillmore. When I was a kid, Millard Fillmore was a joke because he didn't do anything. He wasn't capable of actually being president. But rather than do things that hurt America, he just did nothing. So it was kind of he's the worst one because he didn't even bother trying, Turns out not bothering trying is kind of better than just fucking up, at least you're keeping things steady.
You can do more damage if you try than if you just don't do anything at all.
And George W. Bush tried and he fucked up real bad. That's the problem. And over the last 2 or 3 weeks that we've been going through with these retrospectives of Afghanistan with the war officially over and stuff like that, I don't feel like I've heard enough people say fuck George Bush because
George W. I mean, fuck George Bush also, but fuck George W. Bush.
He had a humongous part. George Bush had a part to play because he tried to get Iraq the first time, inspired his son to finish off the job.
Yeah.
So, I was telling Rob during the pre-show. We'll move on from 9/11 stuff right after that. But I was telling Rob during the pre-show that it used to be that there were these people who, while they were certainly tailored to a political affiliation of one way or another, they almost seemed beyond reproach as far as common reasonable people. Who was the Secretary of State for Clinton? What was her name?
Madeleine Albright. Right? Madeleine Albright. Yeah.
Madeleine Albright was one of these people where it was even if you were a Republican, you still said that's a girl who knows what she's doing. She's on top of it. I don't agree with her on political things, but as far as her being Secretary of State, she's doing a great job.
I think that girl was a concentration camp survivor, just of note of the girl.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, I didn't mean to minimize it by saying girl. I was just saying that woman.
By the way, I got a lot of respect for anybody who's got numbers tattooed on their wrists. I'm automatically she probably knows more than me. She understands. Yeah,
I'm probably not going to ask questions about this whole thing.
No, go ahead.
But at the same time, another person like that was Colin Powell. Colin Powell was the type of person who he wouldn't lie to you. It felt like if Mr. Rogers lied to you or something like that. And then he went in front of the UN Security Council and he said, we have found evidence of weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And he put on a show that because everyone else tried to say the same thing. Donald Rumsfeld tried to say the same thing. People were just yeah, fuck you. You've been too compromised to do this sort of thing. It almost felt like Colin Powell was just okay, I've seen the evidence. I got to tell people what I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you find out that he was just lying for the pure political, let's get another war out of this. And it was all wrong. Him and Condi Rice, who seemed like these bastions of honor and integrity of the Republican Party, turned out to be just as flaccid and dumb as the rest of them.
Condoleezza Rice is just a new age Sally Hemings.
I'm most of what you just said got got uh interrupted by static, so I'm just going to assume you said something awful and then just move on to our last segment of the day.
No, wait. I do want to say one thing before we move on.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And that is just, I am appalled, disappointed, but not surprised that the last week has been, let's remember the 3,000 Americans lost, and very little coverage about the 7 million people who have lost their lives or been displaced by the wars that the deaths of those 3,000 people caused. So,
yeah.
Also, the Pentagon started declassifying 9/11 documents, and the very first document they declassified shows links between Saudi intelligence and 9/11 hijackers. And 15 of the 19 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia, and people have been saying for 20 years Saudi Arabia was involved. We are still very close allies with Saudi Arabia. Iraq had nothing to do with it. We went to war with Iraq. Afghanistan had very little to do with it.
Other than the fact that they were an empty shell in which Al-Qaeda was able to find a foothold.
Much like, a backcountry Kentucky county that just doesn't have the resources to deal with the militia that's growing in their county. Afghanistan didn't have the resources to deal with a well-funded organization in their backyard. So, automatic lights. But
I don't know. They turned off for some reason.
We need to just take a moment and say 7 million killed and displaced because 3,000 American lives were lost. And there is no way you can argue that anyone can argue to me that 3,000 American lives and 2,800 American servicemen are equal to in any way 7,000 lives just because they're not American. And also, by the way, I was just gonna say on top of that, like clearly, I still feel awful for the people who died in the towers and the families, and everyone, and I feel bad for that, but I do legitimately feel bad that America didn't have a goddamn plan from the beginning, because deaths in war is something that kind of happens. But it feels like so many of these deaths were unnecessary just because there wasn't a fucking plan. Yeah.
Like if there was a plan and, you accidentally killed a civilian while you got Osama bin Laden, then, maybe you can make some sort of argument about whether or not that collateral kill was worth it and stuff like that. And sorry for that person's family who had to die innocently in the pursuit of something so evil. But at the same time, it's not like that, because it's just like the other side doesn't even matter. The death count doesn't even matter to the people who are dropping the bombs and flying the drones.
We lost 3,000 people on September 11th. We lost 3,000 servicemen over 20 years at war. But we have lost 9,000 servicemen since the start of the Afghan war who have died at their own hands once they came back. And that... not spoken about at all either. We're not going to talk about how the lack of getting people out of the military and dealing with the crisis of mental health that comes from being like, oh, I was a drone operator and I just blew up an entire family at a wedding and didn't kill the guy that they told me was there. Okay. And then you go home and put a gun in your mouth. Not gonna talk about that at all. Let's just honor the 3,000 dead. And again, not that it isn't a tragedy that they died and they died unnecessarily, but also, if George W. Bush hadn't left troops in Saudi Arabia in 1992, then 9/11 wouldn't have happened. And if Reagan hadn't angered the Soviets in 1979, they wouldn't have invaded Afghanistan, and then we wouldn't have had funded the Mujahideen. And if Eisenhower had a better relationship with Stalin, there wouldn't have been a Cold War. And it just continues to go back and back and back and back. There's no start. There's only a stop. We have to find a place where we just stop it. And we still haven't found that place, because even though we're out of Afghanistan, as we said last week, people are calling on another war already. Where can we bomb? I got some bombs and I'm getting itchy.
I don't even understand it, to be honest. I mean, like it's like somebody who always like strives for something like huge, like, oh man, I'm not going to be happy until I get that GTR or until I get that Lamborghini or something like that. It's just like, well, why do you need a Lamborghini over, like, you're just driving to and from work? Like, why do you need the Lamborghini over like the Corolla? And it's just like, well, you don't understand. The Lamborghini has 700 horsepower and it's so nice and blah blah blah, and it's my dream car. And but it's like, yeah. But why? Like, literally, why do you need it? And like, nobody can answer. Nobody can answer that question about war. It's like, no. I get it. You're pissed off. I understand that your mother didn't love you enough when you were growing up. Why exactly do we need to bomb, country X? It's just like, well, because I want to. It's like, well, no, but why? Can we like give me an articulate reason as to what, like, America didn't get into World War II until we were attacked. Like, there were plenty of moments before that. Oh, I know. There were plenty of moments before that where America was just like, we're getting in if you keep doing this. But, the line was pushed until we were attacked, and then that was it. That was, now America has to get involved,
Yeah. I mean, sure. Operation Northwoods, but okay, fair enough. Anyway, before we get out of here,
I have a traffic cone sleeping behind me in case you hear some snores.
Poor producer Brooks. Let's just say he underwent a procedure that I will soon be undergoing, well, in part, I guess. And neither of us are going to have any offspring. So, sorry, Brooks. Feel better. But before we get out of here, it, of course, was week 1 in the NFL. So that means we have to talk about sports ball.
So, Rob, you were over here yesterday for the Ravens game on Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Some wings were had.
Yes.
Some fun. It was a good game. Like, as far as the actual game goes, it was a very enjoyable affair.
Ending sucked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the ending was fun as far if you could separate your Ravens fandom from
right
it.
up until the end. Yeah.
It looked like they won and they walked off and then they threw an interception and there was a turnover and then they finally got the touchdown. Like, it was all very
and listen, it was good for me.
It was all very entertaining.
I won my fantasy football week by 0.38 points. So thank God for Lamar. And no, Lamar's in my other league. But yeah. Somebody played it one. Thank you.
somebody got points.
I have no idea who. Was not paying attention.
Obviously, this sucks for a Ravens fan though, losing that first week because presumably. We're not going to do better against Kansas City next week, even though it'll be at home. You would imagine that they would have a harder time beating Kansas City than they would Las Vegas.
Yep.
So the Ravens could start off the season 0-2, which will be a hard position to recover from. But you know what? I think since the last time we spoke, the Ravens have lost 2 more running on just J.K. Dobbins. They also lost Gus Edwards and then Justice Hill, who were 2 and 3 on the depth chart. Just all your running backs like that, it can be you're dealing with a different deck of cards than you were at the beginning. Well, coming in, So don't take anything I said last week as a